Hey there, friends. Welcome back one last time to Holy Pastor Doing Neighborhoods. You might have thought the last video was the last one, especially when I said you had only one more class to graduate. That was true, but once we were done and before I took a nap, I realized, there's still one last thing that if you're really getting your neighborhood going, that you might want to talk about. So first of all, let me say you've done a great job so far. If you've gotten to this video, then it probably means that this is your graduate level course, right? You've gotten to know your neighbors. You're able to say, who 5 or more of them are and what they do and what their interests are. You've probably even gotten some regular events going with your neighborhoods, or at least you're seeing your neighbors regularly and talking to them. You might even have meaningful relationships. And if you're here, you might even have introduced a prayer group to your neighborhood. And any of that means that you are doing something that I bet a year ago you thought you never would have been able to or never would do. So I should also, before I go on, I should say that if you haven't done any of that, but you're still watching that video, then I apologize. It's probably my fault, because I probably am not as holy as I like to think, so I haven't been able to convince you and teach you that all of this stuff is really important. And, I try, man, but maybe I should just stick to what I'm good at, and maybe I'm just not good at this. I should just go back to my day job or whatever, I don't know. I hear you. But no. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and so can you. So, at this point you might be wondering, what if my neighbor is a jerk? What do I do then? What happens then? Or you might be wondering, what happens when my neighbor takes up all of my time and is just demanding me to talk to them all of the time? What should I do then? So we need to talk about boundaries. Now let me tell you a story. I had a girlfriend in college who was really cool at first. She was super well, I'm the holy pastor, so I can't really talk about the SEXY stuff, but she was everything that a college male would have wanted in a girlfriend, especially one that wasn't yet ordained or holy. But after a week or two of dating, she was somehow with me every moment of the day. And really, to be honest, I was with her every moment of the day, because that's the way it apparently needed to be. And then after another week or two, I was realizing that I was only talking to her. I wasn't seeing my friends at all. And then another week or two went by, and she was getting angry at me because she saw me sitting near another girl in class. And then another week or two goes by, and suddenly she's not talking to me for a day or two because I mentioned a girl that I used to be friends with in high school. So all of this is like, yikes, right? Red alert. Something is wrong. And she was my world at the time, not because I was in love with her, but because she just squeezed that vice so hard that there was nothing but her. And how did it come to that? I was always asking myself, how did it come to this? Well, it's because I didn't set good boundaries at the beginning, and I overlooked some of those yellow flags. But once I was surrounded by a wall of red flags, it was hard to escape. So we want to set good boundaries at the beginning. Setting and keeping good boundaries is key for any good relationship. But as you've seen, a strong neighborhood and community is all about relationship. Our world will be a better place when neighbors feel like they can hop over to one another's houses and just hang out, or ask for some extra sugar as they're making cookies, or just to someone to cry with. When neighborhoods are the proverbial village that it takes to raise our kids, laughing and playing with one another, supporting one another, life is great. It is much better. Jesus taught us that, and it's also become obvious the more that our society has made us be isolated. But as we do that, there will be neighbors, just like there will be some friends or family members that we like the better we get to know them. And there will be some neighbors, just like some friends or family members, that we don't like the better we get to know them. You know, those ones who will take that cracked door and suddenly they're in your home and they're just talking at you for hours upon hours. To some extent, a relationship is not good or bad based on how much you do for someone or how much time you spend with them. A relationship is good or bad based on how healthy it is. And the boundaries that you set can go a long way to determining the health of a relationship. So look again at Jesus is sending out the apostles 2 by 2. He says, if anyone doesn't welcome you, wipe the dust off your feet. It's on them. It's not on you if they're not nice. Essentially, he tells them to set good boundaries. So doing the best you can to be helpful and neighborly while also setting good boundaries might actually teach them how to lead themselves into understanding how to be a better person. You don't need to beat your head against a wall over and over again, doing the same thing for people over and over again, and then having your whole life become this person, this neighbor. Speaking of walls, have you ever played tennis against a wall? I mean, they're relentless, right? That dang wall just keeps sending the ball back to you. It's impossible. You can't defeat a wall. It just wears you out. So if you find yourself playing a wall, so to speak, with one of your neighbors, just wipe the dust off your feet. So I'm doing a whole lot of talk about boundaries and how important they are, but not much about how to set them. That's the hard part. It's also kind of the easiest part because you know who you are. So first you just need to think about what your boundaries are. That will be unique to you. You know, what social interactions make you nervous? How much time do you want to spend with your neighbors or with your friends or with your family, and how much time do you want to spend just by yourself? Once you figure all that out, and then when someone crosses a boundary, this is super important and really complicated, so you might want a paper and pen for this, by the way, so get that out. So here's what you do. If someone crosses a boundary, tell them. That's the super complicated part. You tell them. That's it. Have you ever hosted a party with the idea that it would last, say, 2 hours, but no one is heading out the door after 2 hours? Or maybe you are leading them to the door, but they keep finding a way to stop putting on their jackets and their shoes, and they've, erupted into some new conversation topic. It's the worst, isn't it? I mean, it's like, hey, I don't want to shoo you out, but get out. I need to go to bed. No one wants you to explode in anger and frustration because no one wants your insides splattered all over them. Too gross? Maybe. But look, just nip it in the bud with some honesty. You can say, I'm so glad we had this time together, that we had fun, but sleep is important to me and I was planning on getting ready for bed soon. I don't want to kick you out, but I'd appreciate it if you give me time to clean up before I'm too exhausted. Or in the case of someone starting to demand too much of your emotional energy, you can say, hey friend, hey neighbor, I love you and I want to care for you, but I'm not sure that I have the mental or emotional capacity to listen to you for hours every week. And I'm sorry about that, but I'd be happy to get together with you every once in a while. We can schedule some time to get together, and I can pray for your concerns, but I can't do much more than that right now. Now, it's hard because honesty is hard. Polite honesty is hard anyway, that kind of destructive honesty, that can be easy. But polite honesty is hard. It should be easy, though, knowing where your boundaries lie. Setting and maintaining them will keep your relationships healthy. So now you know all you need to for a strong, healthy neighborhood. There is, of course, a bit of evangelism to the project of building up neighborhoods, but do I care if you convert anyone to the faith in Jesus? No. I mean, maybe Jesus does, but just showing the love of Jesus will bring people to him. And do I care if you increase church membership? No. And I don't think Jesus cares about that either. I am certain, though, that Jesus cares about spreading his love around, and I am also certain that I care about that as well. Because just doing that, and just building up strong neighborhoods, will make the world better, will make life more sustainable and healthier, and it will do it relationship by relationship, neighborhood by neighborhood. So join with me in the ongoing project of building up our neighborhoods for the sake of God's people everywhere. Until we meet again in one of my other Holy Pastor Doing Stuff videos or podcasts, keep it holy, friends.